Richard still writes about Wallace and Lambo every once in a while for the Arizona Republic. He also covers wine and assorted things. He's on a special staff called the Storyteller staff. He has one of the best jobs at the paper. And if you want to pitch him a story, he'll be here for the rest of the evening. He's like, no, I'm here. Awesome. Our last storyteller this evening is Jaclyn Roessel from the Heard Museum. Jaclyn has told before with the storytellers, and we're excited to have her back. I'm also super excited that you wore a pantsuit. I just want to respect, I just want fashionista to another.
The leopard shoes.
Yeah, and leopard shoes.
So I'm so excited to be here and also proud to say that I'm a proud board member of the Arizona Humanities. So I grew up on the Navajo Reservation in the northeastern part of our state, and I grew up in a small community called Kayenta, which is surrounded by red sandstones and lots of dirt. Dirt is what I remember, the smell of wet dirt in particular. You could spill water, and that smell is what permeates my memories all the time. You can also spit and get the same effect too. We would lick, I remember licking the driveway. Well, not really a driveway because we don't have very many driveways, but at least the sidewalks at schools and things like that. So licking weird things and tasting dirt all the time. My story is called Navajo Laughing Ceremony, It's No Joke. And it was on the reservation in my small community, the oldest of 4 children, where I learned to love my land, I learned to love my people, I learned to be proud to be Navajo, but I especially learned to love cute little Navajo babies. Being the oldest, having to take care of my siblings, having to take care of my cousins and their kids and all of them, you know, it was one of those things that they joke and say it's the best birth control, and for the longest time it was. All the way up until college, I swore that I was not going to have any kids. I didn't think that I would ever be a parent. I'm not. But I never thought that I wanted that. And it was one of those things that I was always very, very cautious about when playing with the kids, especially babies, because babies are really cute, babies get really excited, and that's sometimes dangerous. Navajo babies are dangerous, and that's because we have this ceremony, which celebrates their first time that they laugh. And before I get to that, though, I have to say that it wasn't until about 4 years ago that this little girl came into my life, my little niece, and she's the one who made me an auntie. That really changed everything. She was the one, and I think some of you might have a little nephew or niece that did the same thing to you, where there was this space, you thought your heart was this big, and this person came into your life, and now it's this big. And then all of that love grew just for her. And it was her who now I carry this torch and one of those ladies that likes the smell of babies, and I can't wait to be a mom because now I have to have an Angela too. And I know I can't get my own Angela, but I think I'll be close. But anyway, the question to ask though when you're holding a baby, and this is a good tip for any of you, especially if you don't have a lot of money. So the Navajo laughing ceremony is held the first time a child has a spontaneous laugh. And so anytime somebody would bring a baby home, or you'd have like these cute little children with the chubby cheeks and everything, and your first inclination is to start tickling them. Don't do that to Navajo babies. It's not funny. Don't do that if you if you love to cook and you have a lot of money and you like to have big dinners, then do it, yes. Because the chances of you making that baby laugh are really, really great, or slim, or who knows. But the thing with having a Navajo laughing ceremony is the person who makes the child laugh means the person who's holding the baby while this baby laughs for you is the one who has to put on this big dinner. And you're kind of like the godparent of this child, so it's a big responsibility. So it was always one of those things where I'd always either pass the child on, like if you didn't want any connection to the person and their family, you're like, no, I'm good. And if you hold your baby, no, it's fine. I'm fine. No, really. No, fine. It's okay. Oh, wait, okay, they had their laughing ceremony last week. All right, okay, yes. So, take the baby, love the baby. Your baby's so cute, let me hold your baby. And so it was this, like, vetting ceremony of the whole thing of, like, okay, whose baby am I not going to hold? Whose baby am I going to hold? Do I want to be a part of this child's life? It's very weighty things. And all the meantime, you have these cute little chubby cheeks, and you just want to, like, hold the baby. I was listening to NPR a couple years ago and had heard this story on Radio Lab that was talking about Aristotle, and one of his theories was that he believed very strongly that humans didn't have a soul until the child laughed, and that his theory was that this happened about 40 days. 40 days into a new infant's life was when they would laugh, and at that point they had their soul. And I was really blown away that Aristotle got it. Like, I was like, wow, this is really cool. Not because I couldn't see the connection, or not because I was surprised that my people who've been in existence for many, many years before here was here, understood the importance of this. We celebrate a child's laugh as being something very sacred. When a child comes into this world and they breathe life into themselves, we remember that. We can look at that evidence of them because we have the swirls of that air that touched us by the fingerprints on our fingertips and the little swirl that a child has when they're little. And so it was really amazing to see this connection, to listen to this story and think, wow, this person across from ages ago believed and knew the importance of this, knew the importance of laughter. And it was 4 years ago, on my birthday, that I was holding my little niece. And I was so excited. They lived up on the reservation for a good time after Angela was born, my brother and my sister-in-law. And I had taken the day off because they extended their trip, and I was just excited. And my brother and my sister-in-law were exhausted. This is their first child, and Angela, I've never been a parent, but I know many of you probably have, and remember those days of having your first child, and just anytime you had to sleep, anytime anybody offered, they were like out. They were like, okay, great. And they were sleeping, and I was watching something probably really inappropriate to be watching with your niece. I don't know if Scandal was on then or if it was Grey's Anatomy, and I'm sure people were just doing really inappropriate things. But I remember talking to Angela and telling her how smart she was, telling her how beautiful she was, and telling her all these things about what we were going to do, all the adventures that we were going to have, and holding her and remembering her smell. And then out of the blue, there was this, and I looked around and was like, oh my gosh, she laughed. There was nobody in the living room. My brother and sister-in-law were sleeping. And so it was another 2 hours later before I got to share the news, because Angela was on my lap, and then she had fallen asleep. And I'm like, did she even know that she just laughed? Did she know? Oh my God, this child just laughed. And then in the meantime, I'm thinking, what the heck? So my brother gets up, my sister-in-law gets up, and I proceed to tell them that Angela laughed. And so then we start this whole, another thing about Navajos, or maybe it's just me, but my family doesn't believe me a lot of the time, and I feel like I'm the most responsible one out of everyone. But they always question, really, what happened? Tell me again. Now tell me how she laughed. Tell me again, what were you saying to her? Now what were you watching? Why does the show matter? Why does what was on TV matter right now? She laughed. Like that, okay? And I've been doing this for 4 years now, explain, this was her laugh, this was her laugh. And then we had to call my parents, and then it was another 20 minutes of them telling them what was on the TV, what was on the and how she laughed. And then we had to call my sister-in-law's parents. I'm like, okay, then talk to her mom and tell her everything. This whole time, I'm like, yes, okay, yes. After 2 hours later, finally, everyone agrees, okay, Jaclyn made Angela laugh. This is great. And we could finally begin to celebrate. And I felt at the end of that, I'm sure, what Hillary felt like earlier this week, because I was just tortured after all of this questioning. Nobody believing me. And I was exhausted, but then I had more worries and just really concerned, because I was going to need to provide this dinner for my family, and the role of this person was really the godparent, to show this child how to be generous, how to give, and how to be a good Navajo person. I was thinking, I know 6 recipes, and they all depend very highly upon boiling water. That's it. I'm not a very good Navajo woman. I'm not cooking all the time. And so it's a lot of pasta this, some rice, a little bit more pasta, and rice, and then maybe some steamed vegetables. And so I'm thinking, oh my goodness. And this was like one of the first times. It was Labor Day weekend, because my birthday's on August 31st, and so it's like Labor Day weekend is either before or after. And so we were all preparing to go home and be up at my family's place. And I think about Angela's laughing ceremony. I think about, this was kind of the last time my late Melissa, my late grandma, was alive, for an event, for a festivity. And I remember her sister, and just everyone coming together. And it's one of those memories that's really special for me, of people coming and surrounding and just being loved, just that feeling of coming together around this little baby. And I think about how much laughter existed during that time, because they were laughing at me because I couldn't cook, but then they would tease me, and then they would help me make stew, and they would help me make bread so that Angela's dinner could be as prosperous as I had hoped. And, you know, when I bought the food, and we talked about how, you know, just my hopes for her. And my grandma's sister was the one who was saying prayers to bless Angela in this next step. And it's not until this point when a child laughs that she's actually, or he is able to wear turquoise. And turquoise is really important for us as a people. It's our protection. It's how we honor Father Sky, and it's how we honor the men in our life. And so being together in that space is something that was really powerful. And I didn't connect that. I didn't know Aristotle at the time. I didn't recognize that connection. But what I knew was that Angela's existence and her ability to continue to laugh, even 4 years later, at her silly auntie who makes a lot of mistakes, wears funky outfits, has great shoes, and who she's always able and knows that she can borrow lipstick or lip gloss anytime she wants, is really what my role is, and is something that connects me to be the best Navajo woman I can be, because it's for her. And she is definitely my little light bulb, my little unicorn. Thank you.